It's Mountain Monday, and you know what to do. Breathe in and out. And breathe in and out. And it is Mountain Monday, and this is ReCore. Uh, the name is evocative of what life feels like it's done to me the last couple weeks. Joking. Thought I'd show you guys this game while I play because just doing gameplay videos doesn't work so well. There needs to be a topic over it. And the thing about this game, this is very early in it. I just started. But there was a mountain. So I wanted to seize the opportune moment. Now, this is one of these games for Windows, Xbox One crossover thingies. So I am playing on Xbox One because I didn't properly check the specs. Here they are for you to see if your computer is up to the task. I could have played it on my machine. The specs aren't bad. The rest of this video, though, is going to be me talking over pre-recorded video because this game is one you actually have to play. I'm very happy about this. So the rest of this is, like I said, just me talking over pre-recorded video. It was video I made. So this is me doing this shooty and then getting distracted once these things are done because I was looking at the scenery. I do that a lot in games. But yeah, I apologize for the dip in quality of videos last week. It was really tough to get stuff out at all. Never mind, you know, with the keys and the tags and all that stuff that I'm used to. It, everything that can go wrong has been going on, whether it's health stuff, or work stuff, or money stuff, or things breaking stuff, or scheduling stuff. It has just been a time of it. So this weekend I finally went, screw it. I'm not going to do anything but play video games. And of course then I realized I had to work, so I fired up Tropico 4 and did writing while I was waiting for things to build. And it worked surprisingly well in terms of, okay, find your zen, like I am here in another mountain or rock formation that is mountain-like. Just had to do it because so many mountains in this game. Like literally started the game up, boom, mountain, done. All right. But and that's the beauty of video games, isn't it? And especially games like this that you really do have to pay attention. I mean, this here is nothing. This is easy. You can tell it's just lock on stuff. But once we get into the spiders and stuff like that, it really picks up and becomes awesome. But yeah, it's... I know a lot of people are being worn down of late, and part of it is me not understanding how to do this gameplay mechanic. I figured it out eventually. But, you know, part of it is that you may have noticed there's an election going on in the US, and it's really brought out the worst in a lot of people. And that's had a really bad effect on me because I see the way people are talking about people they forget are people. And it's hard not for me to take it personally because I'm somebody who gets talked about like I'm not a person either, literally the devil, right? I mean, if only that were the first time a couple weeks ago that had happened to me. It happens all the time, and it happens when you're a public person. And actually, no, strike that. It seems to happen to everyone on the internet. There's a lot of people I talk to who, you know, lament that because they like video games, they're judged, and, you know, they don't get a chance to defend themselves. They don't get a chance to say, no, I'm not this horrible thing you've said I am. And if only things were as simple as they are in games. But I think that's what is so comforting about them, is it's this whole idea of get good. It's this whole idea of being able to try and try and try and try until you finally get it. And, not failing out after the first attempt and having to, just go home. Or, some people even lose their homes in real life because they tried something and they failed. And that always makes me really sad that we do live in such a dog-eat-dog society, that it's so, screw the other guy before they screw you. And I can't help but feel like this is coming to something of a critical mass in that regard, that we can't go on like this forever. We can't go on just attacking, and not coming together and having discussions about things. And if it was only the internet, that would be one thing, but it's not. I see it happening in the real world quite a bit. One disagreement and people just stop talking to each other and that's it. And people link me to some interesting articles about it. People, we can philosophize all we want while I fail on this tether mechanic. What you have to do here, by the way, with the tether mechanic, you have to, when it turns red, ease off, but don't let go of the firing button. So just sort of let go of the stick, but not the trigger, I think. If that makes sense. It's sort of just don't, like, if you play the game, and I so far I recommend you play the game, you'll get the sense of it, but yeah, it's a little wonky at first. But that's the nice thing. It's wonky at first, and then you get better at it. But too many people treat games like they treat people. If they can't be instantly good at it, jump into multiplayer and know exactly what they're doing, then they won't have the patience to get to know what the game does as its own unique little thing. And, maybe people do choose their video games like they choose people. I like games that are rough around the edges, kind of flawed, but take risks and try to do something new and have a really solid sort of fundamental design that is fun to play. It doesn't have to be the greatest story, it doesn't have to have the greatest pedigree for me to enjoy it, as long as there's something interesting and honest about it. And, like I said, you could say that that's a description of a person as well as a video game. I didn't expect this to get so deep. But I see a lot of people who are just out there to kill other people in multiplayer settings, whether that be Twitter, whether that be, real life politics, whether that be business. It's so kill or be killed. And that instinct doesn't come from video games, because I am a diehard gamer and do not enjoy that, precisely because there's too much of it in real life, as I fumble to take this boss down because I didn't understand the mechanics. And there are few cooler things to me than to sit down and play a game and have the experience like ReCore, like I had with ReCore, where in about 15 minutes, just hooked, right? And you guys might be watching it and saying it doesn't look that cool. It is very neat to play. And this is the difference between actually getting in there and doing it yourself and watching someone else play. Although, hey, this game might be fun to play too because it's super pretty. But games like People, some of them are really nice to look at. Some of them you actually have to spend time with yourself to really understand what makes it special. And I don't really find that those games or those people get a fair chance nowadays, and I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do about the I guess it's despair that it makes me feel. It's not, you know, necessarily just about me, although a fair chance would be great. Not gonna lie. But I see so many other people out there with talent and skill, and because they don't know the right people and they don't know how to network, then they're not appreciated. And the thing about networking is it's, you know, that can, it's very subjective too. One person's, hey, this works great in networking, can be an absolute disaster for somebody else, because it's all what you're looking to get out of the exchange, right? I mean, if you're just looking for a set of scumbags with money that you can use and use them back, then yeah, that sort of general business networking stuff is great. But if you're looking for meaningful partnerships where you can actually enjoy the work, you can't really get a sense of someone at a cocktail party or a power breakfast, right? And this is where we get into that whole conflict of interest thing in games, and why we gotta figure this out. We gotta figure out what is acceptable and what isn't for this industry, because anybody can walk in and say, hey, I'm with this site, you know, they just got hired 2 weeks ago, and get the access that somebody else who's been toiling away for, you know, years should have had based on merit. But it's more about connections. And this is the part of the game where I really started to feel like I was getting the hang of it. That I really felt like I understood the controls and the way the dash works in combat and the charge shots and the little grapple thing. Little did I know that you can only grapple when there's not another enemy, because the enemy breaks the grapple. That makes sense, right? But there's so many other games where you get into those little, you know, mini games, quick time event type things, and everything around you stops. So it's pretty cool that it didn't. But the cool thing about games is that when you play something like this that is so, you know, all-consuming, that just sucks you in, you can forget about other things. And sometimes that's what you need right then and there. You need to get away from the onslaught of negativity and just be. And video games give a lot of people license to be alone in quiet that they otherwise wouldn't have. You know, you can explain to somebody, oh, I'm doing this, not I'm sitting in a room staring at the wall because I don't want to be around one more mean person, right? Which is what a huge amount of it is, I think, for solitary players like me. I like the idea of multiplayer gaming, and I've said this a lot, but I have just not enjoyed the practice of it. That was so cool, the way it actually moves the sand when you dash. Well done. That's a cool little detail. And then I went back and checked to see if it actually left the trail, and it did, and that's awesome. And there's a cool little cutscene coming up that I want you guys to watch, because this pretty much sets up what this game is. And so this, if you're interested in the plot, this might be a game you want to buy, because the core gameplay is solid. I'm iffy about the setup. You guys can watch it. I'll address it in a later video when I do a proper full review and I finish this game. I'm so backlogged right now. I was going to try to get the Last Gamer's Guide up Tuesday, but then this came through, and so then I thought Thursday, and I think I'm going to rush it, so I think it's going to be next Tuesday. I apologize. I'll address why in greater length it was delayed in future videos. But let's just close out so you guys can watch the setup here. Breathe in and out. And breathe in.
Doesn't look like it lost any energy at all.
And out.
Hey, kiddo. If you get this message before you go
and
to
here
sleep,
we are, the big setup.
sweet dreams. If not, Wake up already. It's been 200 years. Listen, I just wanted to tell you I've got a little more work to do here. But they're holding a space for me on the next evacuation fleet. And I'll meet you on Far Eden, just like I promised. Don't worry, Jewel. Everything's going according to plan.
I know, Mac. Nothing is going according to plan. I mean, look. Pylon in the next sector is offline. Now that we've got power, we can unlock the gate, go over there, and check it out. This report says the pylon's been offline for 96 years? So why didn't we wake up right when the problem started? We're the closest maintenance team, right? What happened, Dad? Where are you? And where's everybody else? Come on, Mac.
Now,
I'll get you fixed.
I love that they've instantly set up the game and the emotional core of the game. I love that. What I don't love is it's the exact same emotional core as Rise of Tomb Raider, and she looks so much like dust cyberpunk Lara Croft. So, to be continued.